What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 170 of the Chumpcast. This week, we had a double feature review of 20-something Bridges and Knives Out. Also, Mark does some tear-jerking, and my dog gets a new nickname. You can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call or text us at 847-920-6107. Thanks to our friends at Family Video for sponsoring the show. If you collect DVDs or Blu-rays, you can get some awesome deals right now through the chumpcast.com/familyvideo. They have ridiculously low prices on new releases, and they're always updating their selection. I'm looking right now at copies of The Lion King, Toy Story 4, John Wick 3, Rocket Man, and way more, all for under $10. Plus, it helps the show. You can find our merch at thechumpcast.com. Check out patreon.com/thechumpcast for all sorts of bonus content and more goodies. Now, if you'll excuse me, it is still Sunday, and you already know what that means. I want audio of the disaster that this is going to be.
New system, baby.
Is Mandalorian episode 3 out yet?
Yes.
Already saw it.
Out on Fridays.
Damn, that show was good. Big Star Wars guy now.
This is all very new to me. I tried Twitch when Spider-Man first launched.
I remember that.
I did it for like a week, and Spider-Man came out, like a year ago? They've completely changed everything. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing now.
Have they been changing it for the better, though, Brick?
I would argue I wouldn't know the difference either, actually, because I started and became affiliate, which now we are affiliate because of the fam. Shout out the fam, the Discord, led by the Reverend Rogue himself. But we got all the views and all the followers that are required for us to be, legit, I guess, on this streaming platform rather than, Facebook or whatever we've been doing before.
I would argue that we are the opposite of legit, but I am very happy to be as far away from Facebook as humanly possible because it is a garbage place full of garbage people.
All my friends, and you guys are friends with me on Facebook too, included in the garbage people.
I hate Facebook.
Yeah, it's the worst, and it's the source of probably 75% of the arguments that I have with any of my family members. Whether it's, why aren't you friends with this cousin? Or why did you post this stupid thing that is clearly unfounded and not true?
Do you ever engage with family members in the comments of their posts?
I will do it to a certain family member and say, it took me 3 seconds of Googling to realize that this isn't true. And then I'll drop a link in there with like the actual story. And then I'll just walk away and never check on it again.
I have a family member too that just posts whatever article has a good headline, doesn't even dive deep into like if it's true or not.
Never.
Is it Kelly?
Yeah, it's Kelly.
That's the thing, though, is I flat out asked this person, do you even care that this is false? And they're like, no, it agrees with what I think. I'm like, well, what the fuck? You don't see the problem with this?
That's all that matters.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
it
terrible.
checks out in my brain, and that's all that matters is my brain and what things, populate there.
Brainstorming has a different meaning with your brain, though.
Tornadoes for brains.
An actual storm inside of your brain. Are you going to heck, Brick?
I couldn't think of a good excuse for me to go to heck. I guess I'm not going to heck because I did end up finding those, loose turds during the day that I didn't pick up last week. You
know why you're going to heck?
Why?
Because you think that picking up Khaleesi's loose turds is enough to exonerate you.
No, I'm just saying it canceled out my last heck appearance. Like, the judge would be like, oh, that checks out. You left it there for a day. Oopsie. Here's a slap on the wrist.
The judge of who is the judge of heck?
He can go to heaven again. Isn't that how the good place works?
I'm actually, depending on where the poo is located, I'm okay with this time of the year leaving a poo overnight to harden, especially if they're real soft, because then it can really get like into the sidewalk or the grass, when realistically you can just wait till the next day because it's cold out for it to actually harden, and then you can cleanly pick it up and dispose of it.
Really happy that you're not moving into the house 2 doors down from me.
Just walking on shit
all the time. Because your dog, you would train Moose to exclusively shit in my yard.
He would take a poo, I would wipe his butt and leave it and walk away.
No, you would pick up his poo and then put it in my yard.
No. He would go up to your door and click on your nest, ring the doorbell, and then make you watch Moose poop on your lawn, and then have him walk away with the middle finger. I'd actually appreciate that, Mark, if you just did that.
But then he would go to heck. I need a ruling, actually. Brick, I'll call you the judge on this. I had to get a maximum security cage for my dog.
Phantom pooper.
He literally chewed apart and broke out of the other one. He went. This was the origin of Houdini, is that he would Houdini his way out of the cage and then take a shit on the floor.
He Shawshank Redemptioned your cage?
Yeah. So now I had to move him to a Supermax. So he's graduated. He is El Chapo's dog, El Crapo, but he hasn't broken out of this one yet.
I want to move the camera to show this freaking
It's extreme.
prison for a dog that you have right here.
It looks like something you would put if it was bigger, you would put a tiger in.
It has some firm bars on there. I mean, it looks like it's indestructible.
Right. And also, I bought a supposedly indestructible, quote unquote, pad for the bottom of it, so he didn't have to like lay on the bars. He destroyed it in one day.
What's your problem, Goob?
This place has like a 100% guarantee, and I'm going to call him and be like, you people are full of shit. How could you possibly call this indestructible? It took my dog one day. And it's not like he's a big dog. He's like 70 pounds.
You're going to bring that cage just destroyed back to the pet shop. The guy's going to be like, Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. He broke out.
So am I going to heck for putting my dog in a Supermax prison?
No. He can't behave. He breaks out and he poos on the floor, and then you step on it. And then he wipes your butt. He wipes his butt on your carpet without you knowing.
I've never stepped on it, and he's never wiped his butt on the carpet.
Ooh.
He doesn't have runny poos because I don't give him human food like you do, Moose.
Mark, I was the judge, by the way, so you are overruled, first of all, and you can sit down and get out of here. Second of all, no, you're not going to heck. Heck, you're going to hell because you're a piece of shit. Let that dog roam free. Pick up the dog poo. What are you going to let him sit in a cage? I feel bad when I have Khaleesi have to sit in my room all alone.
I feel bad about it too, but he needs to be able to be okay by himself. Like, I can't be with him 24/7. It's not like I can take him to work with me.
True. Maximum security.
He's never in the cage for more than 2 hours at a time.
He'll evolve. He's not even 1 yet, right?
He turns 1 in about a week and a half.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Expect the birthday party invite in the mail.
Sick. He definitely didn't lose it.
He turns what in a week and a half?
1.
He's not even 1 yet?
No.
He's a pup.
Yeah, he's a asshole pup.
I thought he was like 2.5.
Breaks out and shits on the floor.
He's just a big dude already.
I'm kind of hoping he grows out of this phase where he has terrible separation anxiety.
He won't.
Like, I'm not even that fun to be around.
Brick, when is it the end of the puppy stage for a dog? 2.5 years, 3 years?
Never. Not for my dog.
Yeah, he will always be my puppy.
How long can you say like, oh, my puppy? Like to
Forever.
I'd say like a
he's a
year and a
puppy.
half.
You think so?
Yeah.
I still call Khaleesi my pups. She's a small dog, though, so she's my forever puppy, so that's kind of why I got her.
Yeah, 1.5, 2 years probably.
Does your mom still call you her baby, like to her friends?
No. My mom calls me a shithead. That's
Fair.
about it.
Your mom is smart. My mom still refers to me every time I'm with her and she sees one of her friends. She'll like pat me on the back and like, this is my baby, because I'm her youngest.
Mhm.
Like, Mom, I'm 33 and I'm
6'5".
I'm 6'6",
Towering over you.
standing next to you, towering over you.
And
I'm
I'm
not your baby.
And I'm almost blacked out right now, Mom. I've had like
And I'm-
13 beers.
That's surprisingly accurate.
Yeah, it's just at the Daytona
I'm not mad
500.
about it.
Where do you normally go? What is that race you go to all the time?
In Chicago. I've never been to Daytona, actually. That'd be fun, though.
Road America.
No, it's the Chicagoland Raceway is what they call it.
Well, this upcoming year, invite me and I will go. I want to witness one of those races.
You promise.
I
You'll
promise I'll go.
go. Okay. Seriously, we get tickets every year.
I'm down. How
I
much
actually-
are tickets? They're $500 though.
No, they're like $80.
Okay. I'll go.
I actually was talking. So my barber that I go to, Cedric, shout out Cedric. He listens sometimes. He's French. He's from France.
Mhm.
Like, he's a transplant. And he was talking about how everybody else in the world, because I was talking about Ford versus Ferrari, everybody else in the world watches Grand Prix. And it's just Americans are like, NASCAR.
Grand Prix motorcycles? Is that
No.
weird? Oh,
Grand Prix is like Ferraris, Porsches,
oh, really? Okay.
like the fastest cars.
Yeah.
The road race.
That's way cooler than NASCAR, I feel.
I kind of think it would be too. They go faster and they turn more.
I mean, it look cooler.
They do look cooler. They look very sexy, those cars.
Are you into the super bike races at all?
Not really. I've been threatening to buy a motorcycle for years. I grew up riding dirt bikes and stuff, and Eric is just like absolutely
No.
staunchly opposed to it. So.
Yeah.
I have a dirt bike track that's like 5 minutes from my house, just right down the road.
Imagine Bricketto just picking up dirt bike racing. He's like, yeah, I'm going out to the
I would
fucking
fall
dirt
and
pits.
easily just after the first ramp, I would accidentally overcharge that sucker and just wipe out. And
No,
break
Brick is
both my
down there
legs.
on a razor scooter, like doing sick jumps and shit.
I fucked at I would always hit my shins on the razors doing. I'm not a extreme sports kind of guy.
He's studying up on motorcycle techniques by watching motocross on the Disney Channel. He's taking notes.
Fair.
Yeah, I do skateboarding. Or I do rollerblading just to become Brink.
It's good enough.
Team Pup and Suds.
News to us. Boop.
It's a slow news week. So
For you, it
Well-
actually is a big week for comics, which we'll get into.
Huge week for gaming. Are you kidding me? Just kidding. I have no idea.
we'll get to that. Let's talk about some trailers, though. The cats are back to shit in your shoes and ruin your day and live in your nightmares. I feel like they changed the cat characters to look more human.
And worse.
It's weird for me, the Idris Elba one, because it just looks like a giant naked Idris Elba.
Yeah.
That's a little disconcerting.
They did the reverse Sonic is what they did. They made it look more human.
So that's bad.
This day and
Are-
age, I
are
would
they-
say yes.
What if they're leaning into it just to be like such a spectacle? Like an actual train wreck where you can't look away.
I feel like nowadays things are getting so realistic and getting into that void where people are like, let's just go back to the unrealistic CGI that we used to
Oh, we'll
have.
get to that in a second. But I mean, this is coming out against Rise of Skywalker. So this is
fucked.
going to get completely buried, right?
Oh, what's a shitty movie? It could go against Triple X, the 7th installment.
How dare you, sir?
And it would obviously get smoked.
Mark is going to heck for shitting on Triple X.
What?
But the 7th installment.
I would watch the 7th installment of that. Did you see that they're making a Fast and Furious cartoon on Netflix?
Amazing. It's the best thing ever to happen.
And it's Vin Diesel's daughter is one of the characters.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm,
Are we going to watch this, right?
I'll watch it.
Absolutely. It comes out like the day after Christmas. Like Merry fucking Christmas.
I want to see one where Paul Walker's baby grows up and he's like 16. He's a shithead and he's just ripping drag races in Tokyo. He's back in Tokyo.
I thought you were going to say like ripping whippets.
No, not whippets. Not yet.
He 100% Paul Walker's son rips whippets.
Not yet. That is the follow-up movie.
Okay. He goes to rehab.
Yeah.
Okay.
It keeps your butthole loose.
Speaking of terribly unrealistic CGI, Harrison Ford has crawled out of his hole to make Call of the Wild. So this is based on the book.
This is the stuff we want.
Is
No.
Rick has takes.
No, I started watching the trailer. And I didn't even look at the trailer. I just saw old Harrison Ford with this awesome looking dog that's clearly
Just
CGI'd.
old brittle bones.
And I just, the whole thing, I'm just like, nope. This looks like a cool adventure. That dog's dead. And I'm going to cry. And I'm going to be pissed. I'm not going to see it.
We need the warning label, like rated R for violence, sexual depictions, and a dog that
death.
dies.
Yep.
It's completely obvious what's going to happen in this movie. The dog is going to go on this adventure with Harrison Ford. They're going to go up into the mountain. They're going to experience something where they're like going over thin ice and somebody falls in, the dog saves them. And then towards the end, the wolves start to notice like they're fucking acting like dipshits out in the wild. And all this wolf pack is about to go kill them. And then the dog has a showdown with the alpha leader of the wolf pack and he wins. That's what's going to happen in this movie. Done.
Wow.
And you know that's right.
You should be a screenwriter.
You know that's right.
Probably. I don't think that we'll end up seeing this. The dog looks very fake.
It like winks at the end. Gives him
Is
a
it-
wink or something.
So maybe it's intentional.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. The dog was giving him a look like it's a really smart dog. And they're going to build this amazing relationship. And I'm going to be pissed off once the dog dies fighting a bear.
Maybe if people just bitch on Twitter about it looking not real, they'll just insert the character design for Scooby-Doo.
It looks like Beethoven, honestly. The dog from Beethoven.
I guess.
It is kind of that St. Bernard.
Yeah. It's a little more slim.
Why don't you guys talk about Avenue 5? I'm going to try and figure out if our Twitch stream audio sucks or not.
Should we pontificate?
You want me to
I'm
check?
looking right now. Go ahead and talk about Avenue 5, the show coming to HBO in January.
Avenue 5 actually looks hilarious. I'm super sold. We've got Dr. What's the guy? Dr.
He's from House.
Dr.
the
Home.
show House.
Yeah.
Dr. House. It was House.
That's his
Yeah.
name.
House. And honestly, so it's like rich millionaires like all live on an expensive cruise ship in HBO. And oh no, they're in space.
It's a space cruise ship.
space cruise ship with Josh Gad and Zach Woods. It looked hilarious. I'm actually super sold on this.
I was mentioning that it just has a bunch of those one-off sitcom characters in it. So you have Jared from Silicon Valley is in it.
Yes, absolutely.
You also have Michael's boss's boss, not Jan, but Jan's boss before she got fired.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. David.
Yeah, David whatever. I forget his last name. But you get those one-off sitcom characters. It should be good. I'll watch the first couple episodes of this.
I will watch the whole series. I've been waiting for a comedy space series since the Black Mirror episode with our guy who was the space commander with the red hair. He looks like Matt Damon.
Oh, you're talking about Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Yes.
What do we
David
call him?
Wallace is the guy.
Frat Damon? Meth Damon. Okay.
So the audio in our Twitch stream is coming through the camera for some reason.
Oh, really?
That's fun.
Fuck.
I'm going to try and fix that while you guys talk about Al Pacino playing an old Jew again for some reason.
Oh, God. All right.
Boy, vey. You think he's 1,000,000% Italian,
What was
right?
he playing an old Jew in before?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
he
he
was
was,
the old
yeah.
producer guy.
Wasn't his name like Mort or something?
I think it was like Morty Schwartz.
It's really
It
appropriate.
was very, very Jewish sounding.
That's like as typical as it gets. Wow. Either way, the whole concept of it looks amazing for me because it's a period piece. They're basically just tracking down escaped Nazis in the 1970s in New York City, produced by Jordan Peele, I'm sold on that part. But I also am just sold on hunting Nazis in the 1970s.
Yeah, I didn't really get the concept until towards the end of the trailer. I guess I should have caught on to it quicker. It looks good. This is Amazon Prime. It's probably going to see how the first season does and then maybe get a season 2, depending on views.
They have Amazon Prime is just riding high off of The Boys, and they want to
do
keep
have
doing
like a
stuff like
misfit
that.
crew of these hunters that they're looking at. They have like 70s Afro Thunder chick. They have like this guy that looks like a plumber. This high school kid looks like a nun smoking a cigarette. There's just like this whole looks like an older lady. They're like a misfit bunch of like assassins that are going to be going after these Nazis, and I am, for one, all for it.
You just wanted to say period piece once again for the billionth time.
Period piece. Yes, I did.
I don't understand Al Pacino playing old Jewish men all of a sudden.
Then you find a role.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Did you not like him as a Jewish guy in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Sorry, we were fixing the audio.
I fixed the audio. Humor me for 1 second. I clipped a new drop because it was very aggressive for Mark, and I found it funny.
This has been Finance Fun with Smithers.
I don't know why. I find that funny.
Because it's just
Finance Fun with Smithers.
Contradictory of what exactly that is. Fun finance with Smithers.
I will absolutely give you that. Let's move on to a little bit of movie news, and then I'll actually kick it to different segments that maybe people care about. Cool. I think the goal here is I stop talking about movie news that isn't actually important, and then you guys can spend time talking about news on other topics.
Cool.
Because if I have to tell you that John Turturro is going to play Carmine Falcone, nobody really cares.
I guess.
He's a good actor. He's the Jesus.
It's one of those news stories because we have the new Batman movie supposedly in the works. Everyone is just waiting for every single casting of every character. That's just how it is now. It's a huge hype story, but it is what it is.
Brick, you wanted to talk about a Joker 2 potentially. Deadline says that Hollywood Reporter says that Deadline says that Hollywood Reporter says that they're all full of shit. Hollywood Reporter was saying that there was a contract in place for Joker 2. Todd Phillips, who directed it, says that that's not true. Deadline is calling everybody a liar. The box office, that's over $1 billion, says that we're probably going to get a quadrilogy of this.
Quadrilogy? What does that mean? Is that 4 different trilogies?
Very astute. I'm proud of you.
I'm in. So I think, what was the contract say? If we make $1 billion, we're definitely making more of these? Was that the subtext?
No, a contract would just be like, hey, we're going to make another one now.
And, I mean, is Joaquin Phoenix on board? What do they say? What are the actors saying themselves?
When you make $1 billion, you can just back up the Brinks truck to Joaquin Phoenix's house and be like, you could walk behind that camera instead of walking right in front of it.
I want to take the chance. There's a lot of cords.
There is a single cord there.
There's 3.
It's glued to the floor.
Mark, What would Joker 2 be about?
Mm,
We live in a society.
I would hope he would delve into a little bit more of his madness and interact with some other villains within the Batman mythos.
Time out, Mark.
What?
Every time we start talking about the Joker, Mark subtly adds his little Joker accent into every single thing. So you, from now on, I think should have to just talk in a Joker voice when talking about the Joker. Because we all know you want to do it.
I guess I just thought everybody knew that. And that's why I just gloss over it now.
Yeah, no.
You just accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
I agree. No, I
No,
love
but
it.
what I
want
really
more
want-
of it. Lean
What I
into it.
absolutely want is a Mr. Freeze origin story, and that would be great in Joker 2.
Who's your Mr. Freeze? Got to be a bald guy, right?
Well, how would Mr. Freeze? Yeah, how would he start?
Mm.
You just want Arnold back.
I would actually take that.
I would take Arnold back.
Who's the guy who played the Drago's son in Apollo Creed 2?
I don't know.
He's too big.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Like too physically large
I think so.
compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know, but I would want a little bit more of a comic book accurate. Like Mr. Freeze is not jacked by any means. He's taller. He's just not jacked.
Well, that's
though.
stupid because he carries that heavy suit around all day.
Bill
He should be
Skarsgård.
ripped. Can you imagine the quads on Mr. Freeze?
He probably has like those biker quads, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's veiny as shit.
Yeah. His upper body is lacking though.
Okay.
Bill Skarsgård as Mr. Freeze.
I can see it. He does that weird eye thing.
A Skarsgård casting wouldn't be bad. And now I'm kind of going back on what I said because his brother, Alexander Skarsgård,
They're all like 6'8".
He was ripped as shit for Tarzan, and yeah, he got jacked, but he would actually be good. Shave his head. He's got that stature of 6'6" or 6'5" or whatever he is. Yeah, put him in there.
Mark, this is actually a real question. What kind of Mr. Freeze origin stories do we kind of know of via the comic books and how he's kind of come to power previously?
Well,
You have like Heart of Ice, the Batman, the animated series origin story, and that's pretty much what everyone.
that's just the one I accept.
Yeah.
Which
And
is what?
that's the one everyone should accept.
His wife comes down with a terminal illness. They were both scientists. He freezes her, hoping that he can find a cure, and then he goes and starts robbing banks and shit to get the money to fund his research and et cetera, et cetera. It's a really good. It's a love story. Like
It won a couple awards.
Yeah,
for
it's brilliant. There is
short.
no better origin story for Victor Freeze than that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always Nora. He's always, like, even in the games, he's always doing something for Nora.
Yep.
So, my last bit of news, and then I'll kick it to you, Mark. I guess we live in a world where Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Joe Manganiello are tweeting about releasing the Snyder Cut.
Is this going to happen?
No, I don't think so. I don't even think that there is a Snyder Cut.
I think there
They
is.
keep
though.
saying, like, no, we've seen it. It's good. I think you're full of shit.
Okay, well, Momoa and Snyder are pretty good friends, and Momoa posted a photo of him stabbing Steppenwolf through the chest, and he also posted another. He tweeted or posted something on IG where it's just him, and he's like, "Release a Snyder cut." Him and Zack Snyder. So I feel like Zack Snyder would have told him like, "Yo, dude, just settle down because we don't have shit."
Verbal meme. Everybody getting super excited to see the Snyder Cut. Pull the cover off, and it's that weird Tesla truck that we got this week.
That's kind of funny.
And somebody throws a rock at it and it immediately breaks the unbreakable window.
We could do that meme. Just throw Snyder's face on the truck.
I actually thought you bought one of those when you said that you. I was like, no way. Because I didn't realize at first, because you had the first question on our Instagram story was like, what do you think of the new truck? And I was like, it looks like a PlayStation 2 car that hasn't been rendered yet or something lame. And then I had another stupid one-liner, and then you're like, just got it. And I was like, ooh.
It was actually kind of funny because on Instagram, when all that news was circulating, I was just creeping through Instagram and I went on Alan Richardson's page, and he's the guy, he's Thad from Blue
Right.
Mountain State, and he plays Hawk in the new DC Titans show. So I'm on his page, and it looks like he actually ordered the truck already
He
because
looks like a Thad, by the way.
Yeah, he does look like a Thad. So he had that snapshot where it gives you it had the confirmation number and said thanks for your purchase and everything for the new Cybertruck. And so I just screenshotted it and posted it to our story. And we legitimately, I think Brick actually said, "Yo, did you actually buy that?"
I got texts from people that were like, which one of you bought the Tesla truck?
I was like, I didn't buy it. Not yet.
Yeah. I can't imagine that that's going to be any good, nor would the Snyder Cut be. So you can only spit shine a turd so much. It's just not.
Spit shine.
That movie sucked. Just get over it.
Shine.
I remember getting out of it at the time thinking that wasn't so bad. And then I watched it since and I'm like, ooh.
It was bad. Yeah. This is how bad it was. Not the Snyder Cut, because we haven't gotten that yet.
That's because it doesn't exist.
If I don't go back and rewatch it at least once, it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
I even watched Batman vs. Superman.
It's
I
on
think 3
HBO
times.
all the time.
Yeah, I did not go back and watch Justice League.
Okay.
No.
Mark, why don't you talk about whatever news you have?
As Smithers mentioned for our listeners, we're going to try something new where Smithers is going to take over the movies TV segment of the news. I'm actually going to delve into the comics, and we'll have Brick doing gaming. And there's actually a lot of stuff going on in the comic community this week. So I think the biggest thing that happened is there was an auction, and a near mint copy of Marvel Comics #1 sold at auction this past week on Thursday for $1.3 million.
Can you imagine going through like your grandma's attic and just stumbling across something that's worth $1 million?
It's ridiculous. And that's usually how it happens. I'm pretty sure Action Comics #1 was Superman. That was in an attic. And it's actually good when you have a comic book that's sitting in a dark place because you're not having UV start to degrade and deteriorate the cover of the comic, which is mainly how a comic is graded well, is based on the overall appearance of it. So yeah, I guarantee you this was maybe another case of the comic sitting around and this person being like, holy shit, we have gold in front of us.
Literal gold. It's like finding a brick of gold.
Yeah. But this one was actually graded. Brick, for you, this is Marvel Comics #1. This is #1. It was published by Timely Comics, and it was the first Marvel comic book published in 1939. And the issue featured characters like Human Torch, Namor the Submariner, and it also had...
Namor was Aquaman before there was Aquaman.
Yeah, and it had Kazar. And you are more familiar than I was with Kazar. I did a little bit of research, but I think of Kazar as the Tarzan of the Marvel universe.
So he lives in the Badlands, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm. Dallas Space Heritage Auction sold this near mint. It was a 9.4 CGC. Brick, for you, Smithers is familiar with this. A CGC is the gold standard of how things are now rated. It's like if you had a card in like a nice baseball card and you shipped it into whoever used to do baseball cards. I don't know if it was Topps, but they would grade
Beckett.
Don't
you remember getting Beckett the price guide?
Yes, I do. But they would put the grade on it. So kind of the same thing with comics. There's a company called CGC that grades comics. It's very unusual to have any comic go above a 9.8. And of course, it's on a 10 scale. But this one was graded at a 9.4, which is really good considering it's from 1939.
Yeah.
There are currently only 2 other copies circulating that are above a 9.0, but nothing's at a 9.4.
I wish I was rich.
What's the most you've ever paid for a comic book?
$50 probably.
Yeah.
That's the most I would probably ever consider paying.
How much was that book that you absolutely love with the TV guy face?
Saga.
I have Saga #1, and I bought that, I believe... Got a pretty good deal. I bought it for $70, and I think now it sells, depending on condition, for around like $120, $130. But
yeah, that's too recent to be super rare.
Mm-hmm. So next story, just wanted to talk a little bit about Absolute Carnage. So we had the ending of this series. We had Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy, Cassidy is Carnage.
Yep.
So they had their ultimate showdown in this final issue, #5. This book, I would hope if you're reading comics, are picking this book up. It's written by Donny Cates and art's done by Ryan Stegman. We talked a little bit about it before on previous episodes, I think, when it initially came out. But while this is the last issue, they're only doing 5 issues, and the 5th issue did come out this past Wednesday. There's little resolution. So that leaves me to think that obviously Donny Cates knows what he's doing. He's setting up the Marvel Universe right now in the comics for some badass shit to happen in the future. So I'm pumped for what's going to happen in Venom. Donny Cates is mainly known for his writing in Venom. And
Donny Cates writes on everything, though.
Yeah.
He's got like a million books.
He's writing on everything now. It was a good ending, but like I said, nothing was solved. This is probably the bloodiest series of Marvel I've read in God knows how long. So I think if you're interested in Venom, in Carnage, in anything Marvel, you should pick up this book.
Is it more mature than the issue where you saw Batman's dick?
No. That's that's a good question too. Do you think Marvel is ever going to do like a DC Black?
They already did. They called it the Max. It was 10 years ago, 15.
Well, you think
they
they're
did
going to
Punisher Max, where this lady was like obsessed with wanting to bang the Punisher, and
They
never showed his dick. But
you think they'll revive it in similar fashion, where they're going to have like a magazine cover for it? Because all those books are pretty big now.
Yeah, maybe
the way they
would probably just release it under some different kind of imprint and call it, like Dark Horse or whatever. Call it a separate, especially since they're owned by Disney. Probably not.
Yeah. All right. Well, going on to the next bit of news. Speaking of series endings, we have Batman number 85 is bringing Eisner Award winner Tom King's run to an end. So this Batman series has been going on since June of 2016, and it's been Tom King all the way through. A lot of people are having their problems with how he did this run. I'm actually fine with it. The last couple issues are the ending of the arc he's doing with Bane. So I'm curious to see how he's going to finish off this final issue 85 for him. But the next thing he's doing is passing on to James Tynion. And I don't know if you're familiar with his stuff. Sure. He did
he's done
Eternal. He did Something's Killing the Children, which is a book right now that I've just gotten into that I recommend as well. So that's what we have, what's going on with Batman. And lastly, if you want comic books signed, there were some big announcements that just happened. Jim Lee is coming to C2E2.
You love Jim Lee.
I love Jim Lee. Do you have anything, Jim Lee? Do you have?
I'm sure that I do.
X-Men 268 or any of his icon? That's the one with he has Cap, Wolverine, and Black Widow was on that cover.
I can't picture it.
You might have some X-Men stuff by Jim Lee and just not know it.
I'm almost positive that I do.
This isn't a bad deal. So the deal is C2E2. You have to have a badge to get into C2E2, obviously, but they're doing single signings for $50, which isn't outrageous considering his status.
To me, that's outrageous.
It's not that outrageous when you look at some other prices for signings that are doing. Or you could pay $140 to get a limited edition print that he'll sign. They'll give it to you, and then you could get 3 books signed. You get a selfie with him. It's not bad. $140.
Yeah, that's
and I'm gonna
on my wish list for Christmas is getting a selfie with Jim Lee.
I'll probably purchase that.
I know.
And the last tier is if you want CGC to witness it, which is another $20 or so.
Oh my God.
That's $200.
It's like getting a certificate of authenticity.
Yeah. And I was talking with the owner of my comic book shop the other day, and I'm like, what do you think about all this CGC stuff? And he's like, it depends if you want the artist to just rip up your book in front of you, because there have been instances where you have these guys going up there with this CGC person watching them get this autograph, and the artist is like, I know you're just going to try to resell this for the most part, and say fuck it, and they'll rip it up in front of you. That's happened before.
I believe it. Last
bit of news, another announcement was signing. This is the first time in 2 years that Todd McFarlane is going to be doing I'll call it like a remote signing. You have to ship in books, but they're all CGC witnessed. And I don't know if he needs money or what the deal is with that, but for actually $90 per book, you could ship it in.
That's absurd.
Get it CGC witnessed, signed by him, and sent back.
My guess is that he's trying to raise more money to produce that Spawn movie. It seems like maybe he's just running out of cash or something. That's absurd.
Probably.
But people love Spawn.
I mean, Spawn 300 and 301 just dropped this last month or so, and that was a really high
people love that old
selling
book
book,
though.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking last night about the Max. Spawn makes me think of the TV show, and around the same era of Aeon Flux and the Max when they were on MTV.
Yeah.
I guess Channing Tatum is they bought the rights to make it into either a TV show or a movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Max is a weird fucking story.
I have not read the Max. I just know it was an Image book, and then
he's a big purple guy.
MTV did their animated series in 94 some shit or 96 or something.
The guy who is the Max is a homeless person, and he's crazy, and he goes to a psychiatrist, but the psychiatrist basically it's two different worlds. There's the real world where he's a homeless person,
mm-hmm.
and then there's the fake world where he's the Max, and he's protecting this. It's fucking out there, dude.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Probably a good story for a movie. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. How familiar are you with all the Spawn issues that released in recent years?
Recent years, not at all.
Okay.
All the stuff I read was, I've probably read the first 100.
I was talking to Nick, who he's the creator of the Key Collector comic app. If you're into comics, this is the app you should download and even subscribe to, because they go into everything they go into all the analytics behind comics and what's hot, what's not, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I was talking to him. I'm like, what would you get signed by Jim Lee? And he brought up Spawn 150, which was a Jim Lee cover, and it's badass. And he's like, what you should do,
Looking it up now.
what you should do is get it signed by Jim Lee. And then now that Todd McFarlane is doing signings, you're going to drop $90, but still ship it to him. And then you have a badass cover drawn by Jim Lee and signed by Todd McFarlane too.
It's kind of sick.
So I'm considering that. That's my comic segment for the week.
Brick, I can see your eyes glazing over. Do you?
Sorry,
want to talk
Brick.
about
You got to
something?
read some comics once in a while. I feel like you'd be big into Venom if you read.
I really thought
something.
that I could get him to read Saga.
Nope.
Give him like Venom or something, some character he's familiar with. You know,
That would make sense. That would actually
Brick's
make
like, no,
more
I don't
sense.
read.
But either way, let's do some gaming talk, because I almost died from boredom of your comic book talk. Jesus Christ. Let's start with some hype news.
sorry. Yeah, that was just a conversation between me and Smithers primarily.
Snooze fest. Anyway, Call of Duty, I know everyone's already heard about this, but is rumored to have a 200-player battle royale coming out. None of this has been confirmed. Full rumor mill, whatever. But some of the features that they have are actually pretty sick. Let me know what you guys think of these. So, first of all, I talked with this earlier. Once you die, you can actually get picked up by your teammate and be shipped off in an ambulance to the Gulag, where...
You said goulash again, even after I made fun of you for talking about soup. You mean
the
gulag.
Gulag.
A gulag is a Russian prison.
Goulash is the Russian stew made by old Russian
It's
grandmas.
like cold tomato
You
soup.
guys are... No, that's what I'm saying. You fight in a stew. A Russian stew.
All right, I'm in. I'm
Anyway,
listening.
All right,
so you go to the Gulag, and it's 1v1. 1v1, and if you win, you get to go back into the game. If you lose, you're freaking out. Now, the actual cool thing is, while you're waiting for your turn in the Eliminator, in the Gulag, you get to watch these 1v1 matches, and you can bet on the competitors and earn something called plunder. And so this new plunder system that they have is like recognized at the end of the game with who can get the most plunder. You can wander around and bank your plunder.
Isn't plunder like a pirate
In
phrase?
these bank deposits, but an alarm will go off, like alerting nearby players. So kind of high risk, high reward.
You're plundering booty.
Are you making up these words as you
Plundering
go?
booty all
Rick?
day. They have these missions as well, as in, this is how you kind of earn plunder. This is, you're hunting down specific players, you're collecting scavenger crates, or dominating points, or other different options. So again, it's 200 people. What do you guys think of, battle royale mode? And are you sick of battle royales already?
Yes, but also that sounds kind of cool. I'm not a big duty guy.
I just appreciate the shame that you'll face for A, dying, and then B, getting taken off in an ambulance, and all your teammates are like, dude, you better win this. We need you. And you just get wrecked in the one-on-one battle.
Mark,
And
call out your coordinates.
That would be me. That would be me.
I'll never forget playing that game with you.
Dude,
And
fuck that
everybody
guy.
on the team just yelling at you because you fucking sucked.
No, it was one guy. Who was that guy, Brick?
Terry Greenbeans, and you.
Oh my
don't
God,
fuck with
Terry Green Beans. I don't want to even know what you're doing right now. Probably yelling at your cat or some shit.
Terry's a
Fair
known
enough.
psycho, and I appreciate that about him. He's the leader. He's the leader of the 69ers in our NHL gang.
All right, Brick, what else you got?
Just going to talk about some games they're going to be releasing in November. Some have already released, actually. Others are coming out. Actually, all of them have released. What am I talking about? Obviously, Pokemon. People are freaking out about Pokemon again.
Pokemon what?
It's Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Okay.
So this one's apparently an actual good revamp of the series. They took some of the original 151 Pokemon, as in there's a Charizard, but there's no like Bulbasaur or Squirtle. So of the three starting
What
Pokemon,
the
Charmander,
fuck?
I apologize.
No Bulb or Venusaur?
Nope. Cut, paste, see ya. Same with Blastoise. Gone.
There better be a
Sayonara.
Poliwrath.
Yeah, but
Did you say polygraph?
Polyrath. All right.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
Is this is on the Switch, obviously, right?
this is on the Switch. So it actually looks more like, rather than like the 2D/3D kind of walking around Pokemon like you're used to, it's more like the Zelda kind of feel to it, where you're like in the actual world itself, kind of that third person view, running around. Apparently they have some colorful characters. It's supposed to be based in the UK. Rumor has it.
Interesting.
But they also have it like they made these Gigamax. It's a Gigantamax Charizard. So now, like I saw in this was like in a preview. They're like in these stadiums watching these Pokemon battles, but really they're just like Godzilla's fighting in a stadium.
First of
Like,
all,
how can that be safe?
Gigantamax sounds like a word that you would make up.
Exactly. And I rolled my eyes at that. I was like, okay, Gigantamax Charizard. Yeah, whatever.
He stamples on him.
Nice. Who fucked that Meowth's mom that made that human Meowth, by the way?
You realize that neither of us are going to have any idea what the fuck you're talking
Dude,
about.
you got to give us some context of what you're talking about
Yeah,
right
you
now.
can't just drop.
Meowth, the Pokemon from the Team Rocket, Jesse, and like what happened to Team Rocket?
You can't just drop
I'm
on
just
me
curious.
who fucked that Meowth and expect me to have any kind of thoughts on that.
Who fucked?
Like, do you remember that original Pokemon, like the Meowth could talk, right?
Yes, I recall.
Did they ever explain why he could talk, or did they just like, did Jesse and James have a threesome with a Ninetales and make a speaking
We're
Meowth?
talking about Detective Pikachu right now.
Is this just like what you think about in your spare time? I'm really confused.
Anyway, yeah, I digress from Meowth banging, but I progress to two other games that I'm going to talk about. We got Need for Speed Heat. You're a car guy, Smithers, so this is directed to you.
I'm a big Need for Speed guy too. Underground, shout out.
Dude, the
Snoop
drag
Dogg.
racing on Underground was amazing.
It's the best game ever for PS2.
I'm addicted to Underground street racing and running from the police. It's insane. I played this game, downloaded it last night because I have the EA Origins, which I quietly recommend Smithers or Mark, both of you guys to get because you guys have PCs. But you guys can get both a Need for Speed Heat and that new Jedi Star Wars game for $15 a
I
month.
might actually
Beat both
be in on
games
that.
because they're both hilarious and fun to play, and then cancel in a month and beat both of them for $15.
Hey, Brick, do you know what Need for Speed Heat is coming out? What consoles it's going to be on?
All of them. Everything. PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Don't know if it's going to be on Switch, honestly, but it is on PC
That would be
too.
a sweet Switch game.
It's not a Switch game yet. Switch is always a little late to the party.
I know.
It's kind of underpowered compared to PS4 and Xbox One.
I know. I don't know what I've always loved racing, like handheld racing games. And I can't think of one, but I know I played some.
Interesting.
Okay, Mario Kart. Things
Sure.
like that, where I'm just on a plane and I'm just going to try to beat my time trial.
Okay.
You know?
Well, the nice part about this Need for Speed Heat game is they have a day mode versus the night mode. So it's kind of like Dying Light. Have you ever played Dying Light, the zombie game, where during the day the zombies are pretty calm and, you know, not very aggressive, but once night comes, shit pops off and you got to kind of run for your life?
It's that and I can't remember the other one. It was like a launch title for Xbox One. Like zombies got more aggressive at night.
Yeah. So basically, you're doing street races during the day. They don't give you as much experience, but they give you money to upgrade your car. But if you go into the night is where you kind of progress the story and you can do drag races, but the more heat you have on you, the more experience you get. But also, like, I had the most insane run-in with the police that I was just trying to get home, but I couldn't like shake them. It's thrill ride. It's insane. This was me at like 7:00 this morning, just like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. So that's a fun game. I would probably recommend checking that out.
Hey, known car guy, I'm in.
And it looks fantastic. It's gorgeous. The last one is Jedi, the Star Wars Jedi
Last of the Jedi.
Fallen Order. I will gladly take my time to say that name because it's a freaking mouthful.
No, it's not.
It's really not. You
And
just
I can't say
remember it.
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, say it then.
Post-apocalyptic.
I was quick on the draw that time.
You were nice.
I'm getting better.
Wait, but say that again. Go ahead and tell me the title of the Star Wars game.
Star Wars Last of the Jedi? I
No,
think?
it's Star Wars Fallen Order, isn't it?
Star Wars
fucking know
Jedi Fallen Order. You
I was
both
hoping Game
tards.
News guy would
Let's
know.
go.
I haven't even played it. I don't know why you're getting pissed at me. Just tell your
I'm
fucking
pissed
story
at
already.
Brick right now. Let's go, Brick.
I'm the man. Anyway, this game is, if Dark Souls got into a long-term relationship with Disney and got like soft, that kind of gameplay mixed with obviously Star Wars lore.
And Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater.
No. You sprinkle in like Zelda puzzle solving and then and the cinematics of Uncharted, and that's the game. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Great story building. It's just you're running around killing all these massive zombie or like Star Wars creatures on all these different planets. The story is never really slow. It's like they shove you in the Star Wars universe and you just kind of figure it out. It's a lot of fun. So we will do a review of that actually once I finish it next week. So that's going to take place of actually just telling you what kind of games are coming out. So get ready for that. Some game reviews coming your way.
What about Half-Life? Isn't Half-Life dropping a new game that's like all VR?
You should probably talk about that. It's Half-Life Alyx, right?
Psh, I'm done. You don't even know the good games that are coming out.
I'm not going to buy a VR system just for one game.
I might. Fuck yeah, that'd be dope. I might. Dude, Black Friday VR? That's a great call.
You've totally lost his attention because he's going to be looking for this for the next half hour.
All right, let's movie news. Or not movie review.
Best.
We got best man, so fuck.
Worst.
Still thinking of that Star Wars Last Jedi.
In the world, huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
This just popped up on my phone and I remembered it. Worst game show alive is Wheel of Fortune. A contestant lost out on $10,000. So they were doing like one of the puzzles, but it was like crosswords where you list only the words that are specifically on the screen.
Yes.
But there were 4 answers. So she gives the answers 1, 2, 3, and then throws in and then says the last one. And Pat Sajak's like, ooh, can't give it to you. You threw in an extra word there.
That wasn't even up there. Yes.
That's the stupidest fucking rule I've ever seen. I would be livid if that cost me $10,000.
Ooh, we're a little stingy on the way you said it. That's a pain in the ass, and we'll see you next time. We're Pat Sajak.
Like the judges, it's coming out of their own pockets or something.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Like, no, it wasn't what is. It was where is.
I don't actually watch Wheel of Fortune, but now I will go out of my way to never, ever have it on a TV ever again.
And it's upsetting when you see that kind of thing when just a couple weeks ago, we hear the terrible news about
Alex Trebek.
Oh, my God, when that guy gave that answer, he knew he wasn't going to get it, and he just wrote,
"We love you, Alex." That was
my God,
tearjerker.
I tear-jerked.
You tear-jerked? Is that some kind of weird masturbation technique?
Alex!
All right, guys, come on. You never tear-jerked before?
Okay, let's move away from this as fast as humanly possible. Brick, who is your best man alive?
My best human alive is Willie Nelson.
Dude,
for being his own chief tester at his own weed company. I think that's brilliant. He's a CTO, basically.
He just poached that from you, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a fucking motherfuck.
Are you going to tear jerk about it?
Yeah, I'm going to jerk right now my tears.
All right, Mark, I'll give you this one. We can talk about how Elizabeth Banks sucks.
She does suck.
This was probably the dumbest thing that she could have said. No, that's not true. That's not even remotely true.
I used one of my AMC Stubbs 3 tickets this week just for Charlie's Angel and not go see it, just so she could get a bit more money from me, a male.
Why are you supporting
the fuck
this?
up?
Why are you supporting this?
I'm not.
Okay.
This is me throwing my money at her. Just tell her to shut her trap. Just
before this movie even came out, she said that if it flopped, it was because men wouldn't go see a female-led action movie, which I think, if you go back through our archives, you will see is patently false, because we see a lot of those movies. Terminator was a female-heavy...
I highly requested to see Anna, the Russian spy, where she's a badass supermodel.
Atomic Blonde was completely female-led. I mean, Wonder Woman...
Red Sparrow.
All of these are female-centric and driven, and we go see them.
Hustlers was a great movie with all females.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I just don't understand. Like, what is your play out of this? Do you think that you're going to guilt an entire group of people into going to see your movie? And also, why is the onus on specifically men? If your movie flopped, it's because men and women didn't go to see it.
And I guarantee you, the majority of the people that did go see this movie were men.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because the whole point of Charlie's Angels was like the sex appeal and the action.
I think
This isn't like
it was in the 70s when it was like Farrah Fawcett, but
and what about Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu?
I mean, we're not that far. That's the other things. We're not that far off of those remakes. This isn't an original idea that you poured your heart and soul into. It's a movie that you produced that you put yourself into as Bosley, and you're bitching at people before the movie even fucking comes out.
I just for the hell of it wanted to do a little study, and I was in a group with my two sisters and Kelly and her sister, and I said, hey guys, would you rather see this week Charlie's Angels or A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood about Mr. Brittlebane's great guy, Fred Rogers? And they all said they wanted to go see the Mr. Rogers movie instead.
100%. That sounds way better.
Like, I really can't defend anything she says because I just don't think anyone wanted this fucking movie in the first place. Yeah, we want Spider-Man reboots because Spider-Man's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like, we have Tom Holland, an up-and-coming actor, and everyone is curious to see how he performs, and he put on fucking an awesome performance in the Spider-Man movies. Nobody wants to see Elizabeth Banks do a reboot of Charlie's Angels. I'm sorry. I want to see Cameron Diaz back in that role. Damn it.
I don't, but whatever. I don't get it. Like, who are you trying? How did you see this going in your head? Did you think you were going to guilt every man in America to go see your movie?
I get it. She's just trying to save her ass with the Universal, whoever came out with this movie. Be like, yeah, it's because guys don't like seeing women in lead roles. Yeah.
I love seeing women in lead roles.
I'll go see Hustlers right now if you want.
I love Terminator.
I love Lizzo.
Remy really hates your singing. Do you see him flip around every time you start singing?
She hates my singing so much. I do too. It's okay.
He's not grumbling.
All right, we digress.
Emphasis on the he, because you just called him a she. Not that we're identifying the dog or anything.
All right, so we got a twofer this week. And we're not going to delve supremely deep into either of them. Mark,
why?
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I saw 22 Bridges because...
21 Bridges.
I do.
I didn't even see it and I know the name of the movie.
Hold on. No, this is hilarious because I literally was looking at the cast and like looking into articles about the movie all day today. And I kept saying to myself, it's 21 Bridges. It's 21 Bridges because I kept thinking it was 22. And lo and behold, I fuck it up.
You know, you never cease to amaze me, Mark.
I know. I don't. I'm not going to get into the whole plot of this. It is that typical cop drama movie where somebody is going to be betrayed in the end. This movie surprised the shit out of me. We were texting in our Discord, and I was not looking forward to seeing it. I like Chadwick Boseman. I like who's this other guy? He was in True Detective season 2. I want him to play.
I've pushed that entire show out of my head.
I've always wanted him to play the arch nemesis of Paul Walker, R.I.P. in one of the Fast and Furious movies back in the day.
Why?
He looks like Paul Walker, but he has like that evil grin to him.
That's all you want is somebody that looks just like Paul Walker.
This is to play the arch nemesis of Paul Walker. He wants
Paul Walker's evil twin.
Yeah, I think you just want actual Paul Walker back.
I do. I'm about to cry right now. I need to pull his name up.
So you've also
his name is Taylor Kitsch. Yes, Taylor Kitsch.
He played Gambit in that terrible Wolverine movie.
Yes, but he's always playing like an evil dude. He was in that one ISIS movie or terrorist movie with American whatever. I don't know.
It's something about him.
Wasn't a bad movie.
Good. I like that movie.
Wasn't a bad movie. Anyways, Taylor Kitsch. My one wish would have been to have him have a battle off with
American
Assassin. American Assassin. It's an actual good movie. Good action. Hour and a half. It never really lets down. Like, it's just action. You're always curious as to what the fuck is going on. Who did this? Who did that? What's the real story behind this heist that you'll see in the trailer if you watch it?
So you've also got J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Who's great.
Yeah. Chadwick Boseman did a great job too.
He's a good actor.
I haven't seen him really in much since Black Panther. And he put on a very well performance. So
this you posted about this earlier this week. It got 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's up towards 90% from fans. So we're not the fart sniffers on this.
We are not.
This is a good action movie. Then it's a popcorn flick.
Mm-hmm. It's a stream it. I'm not gonna say go see it in the theater, buy a ticket right now. Wait till this one drops on Blu-ray or to streaming, but watch it. It's a really good popcorn flick. Yes.
Damn, I was actually thinking about going to see it this week.
Go see it. I'm not gonna say don't go see it.
Well, your recommendation is literally don't go see it.
All right. I'd rather recommend stream it over see it, but if you go see it, you'll still have a good time.
Hey man, I'm not knocking you for your recommendation. I'm just saying.
God damn it, dude. It's a good movie though.
Brick and I got to see Knives Out a week early. I'm going to remind you that this is not like generally showing to the audiences yet, so we need to be super duper vigilant about not spoiling anything. Because this is something where you could let something out or relive a scene or something, and we don't want to do that. We want people to go into this completely blind if possible, because I know I said it last week when we did Ford versus Ferrari, that was one of my favorite movies of the year. This movie was better than that.
People are all over Twitter with this movie right now that are getting to see it early.
It's so fucking good.
Yes,
so
I have a feeling it is.
Let's get a few things out of the way. This is currently at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's only critic scores right now. They don't open it up to the public anymore until after it releases wide release. This is produced and directed by Rian Johnson, who did Brick's favorite movie, Looper, and also The Last Jedi.
Looper.
So I'm going to forgive him for Looper specifically because of this movie. If you haven't seen a trailer for this wealthy crime novelist, think like, I don't know, Tom Clancy maybe or something like that. He's rich, writes 2 books a year. He invites his extended family over, who they're all shitheads. They're all fucking terrible. But he's got this remote mansion, and he's having his 85th birthday party. He trying to get everybody together, and some weird shit happens. But the day after his party, they find him dead on what they call suicide. And so basically, Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, comes in and is this super foghorn leghorn type guy.
I do declare.
He is I do declare in
I do declare
a human's body. But he is hired by someone who you don't know. He doesn't even know. And he comes in to investigate this suicide, quote unquote, whatever, murder.
This whodunit.
It is a great whodunit, and it's a very self-aware whodunit. Like, it even calls out like the movie Clue. Like, Clue is the last good whodunit I can think of.
It's aware of what it is.
It knows exactly what it is, and that's what Rian Johnson is really good at. And I give him all the credit in the world for this.
Am I going to be in trouble if me not seeing the movie yet, just you two have seen it, if I guess what the ending is? Can I do that?
Don't do that.
You think I might be
because
right?
I don't think that Brick would be able to keep a straight face.
Okay, Brick's like, no, that's what happened.
No, I'm so sold. I want to hear what Mark has to preview with
We'll do it off air.
Yeah, let's do that off
Maybe
air.
for a Patreon only
just in
segment.
case you're right. But I think the big selling point for this movie is the cast.
Okay. Of course.
We already mentioned Daniel Craig. He plays this Southern detective. Anna de Armas, who you would recognize from Blade Runner and a couple other recent movies, plays Marta Cabrera. She's like his caretaker, the old guy's caretaker. Jamie Lee Curtis is one of the daughters. We've got Michael Shannon, who is the old guy's son. Michael Shannon with the worst beard I think I've ever seen. He looks so fucking creepy in this movie.
Really?
Don Johnson, who has recently been in Watchmen. You would recognize him as the head cop guy.
Threw me off a little bit because he is the guy with the Southern accent in Watchmen. And then when he's talking with Daniel Craig, who has the Southern accent, it just kind of like threw me for a loop because it was one of those things. It's just too recent.
He was pretty good in this too. Everybody.
Lakeith Stanfield is in it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's one of the few non-hateable characters. I love Lakeith Stanfield.
He's awesome.
He's really good. And
Toni Collette's in this. You forgot Toni Collette's. I love Toni Collette.
I didn't forget. I was not there yet. Okay. But I just want to go back to Lakeith Stanfield real quick. If you haven't seen Sorry to Bother You, watch it because it's got one of the wildest twists I've ever fucking seen in a movie. It's so ridiculous. Anyways, Toni Collette is a weird Gwyneth Paltrow type person who like has her own brand of jade eggs that you put in your vagina. Catherine Langford is in this. Christopher Plummer plays the old man. The cast is it's ridiculous. And
do they slowly come into play as the movie goes on?
I would argue.
Like, does it just get you excited because there's another character like that you're going to be pumped for?
I would argue that from the jump, they throw every major name in you.
Okay. You were ready
at
singing.
except for Chris Evans, who comes in and plays a bigger role later.
Okay.
There was a kind of mysterious aspect behind Ransom. His name, which is a great name too.
Is it?
For like this type of, whodunit.
Fair.
What made this movie? Was it the ending? Was it the cast? I'm sure it was all around good, but did the ending blow your mind?
I found myself guessing the entire time to see what was right. They drop little clues in every now and then,
Ooh.
but you do get at the end the major reveal. Brick, I'll let you handle this question.
You're going to let him handle the major reveal?
Yeah.
And not spoil it?
No, he's not going to talk about it. He's fine.
They had clever timing, I felt, throughout the entire movie. And I felt that the family squabbles that they had, that their interactions were so believable. And, just they all stick to their character so well. And they just kind of balanced and played off each other so well in the entire movie. It felt realistic. And then the twists that turns that they had were just kind of on the edge of your seat, I feel, almost. You kind of were waiting for this big reveal, but it unfolds the story in such a way where you kind of feel like you kind of know what happens, but at the same time, there's just so many twists and turns. It's wild. I think they did a fantastic job. Just the storytelling and just the acting and the kind of the group chemistry that I thought was kind of spot on. And there was the good subtle humor. They nailed on a lot of the funny parts. The older people in my theater were loving this movie. They were literally laughing out loud at so many parts.
Good levity.
I laughed at a couple parts.
Okay.
It does have very good levity, and that's something that Rian Johnson's really good at.
So my takeaway from what you guys are kind of describing, it's a movie that is not predictable at all. Were you able to predict anything throughout this movie of what was going to happen next? Okay.
But that did not at all
Did not shy away from
what
it.
it was.
Okay.
So Brick, I agree with you on all the performances. You had a $40 million budget. Most of it went to the actors, and I think it was very well used. It's mostly just a single setting movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mostly takes place at his mansion, and it's brilliantly done. I can't say enough. I walked out of this movie smiling, and I so rarely do that.
Did you mention the budget at first?
No, $40 million.
$40 million?
Yeah, which is very low budget for a big blockbuster like this, especially something that's going to release going into Thanksgiving weekend.
And for having the actor cast that they have, it's fantastic.
Well, that's kind of misleading, Brick. That's kind of a good point.
Oh,
but a lot of actors now get paid on the back end,
mm-hmm.
like based on net earnings of a movie. So, they'll get paid more. It's fine. Brick, did you not like anything about this movie?
Don't really have much to say about the bad parts. I kind of enjoyed the mystery throughout it and them just shoving subtle clues throughout the entire movie. I want to go back and watch this again, honestly.
I immediately called my wife and was like, you need to see this movie because it's right up her alley.
Is it your number one of the year so far?
Boy, I'd have to go back and look through all of it.
I know it's hard to recollect.
Yeah, I do declare. I'd have to think about that more. For me, the one thing I didn't really like is they did such a good job of subtly referencing certain political themes,
mm-hmm.
but then they also called it out explicitly, and I didn't need that.
Okay.
Like, it's okay
You get it.
Yeah, I get it. And you got a little heavy-handed there at some parts.
I don't know. I thought that was just good part of the family squabbling that I found believable, because you just kind of you go from 0 to 100 when you're talking to your family.
I guess.
Sometimes you just kind of like, all right, that's just fucking absolutely ridiculous. Nope, you're done. See ya.
Who was your favorite one of the Thrombies?
Was Michael Shannon was one of the Thrombies, right? He was the son who owned the publishing.
He's the oldest son, yeah.
He was creepy, and I felt the cane added a lot to his kind of persona, and I thought he did a lot of good subtle, body gestures.
Creepy.
And just the way his aura is, he just felt weird, I like the way he portrayed that.
Yeah, he has a scene with Ana de Armas that is real over the top creepy. So excellent job to him. The other thing that I will say that was bad about this is a PG-13 movie. I think they could have better used their one F-bomb.
How did they? Oh, you can't say how.
I can't.
It
just they slide it in there, and I'm like, you get one. You got to make it count.
You know what? I didn't even realize.
This is my complaint about a lot of PG-13 movies: is you don't properly use your one fuck.
The worst is when they use the fuck. This is probably how it happened. You want the fuck to be like out there, like that was the one fuck they
It's
had
looming.
to
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
And you either know it's coming or when it comes, you're like, yes, that was perfect.
Yeah. And that's what I want more of.
It was the one fucked was the worst thing that happened in the movie. They
Pretty
didn't
much.
use it right.
The other thing I'll say about this is that it's beautifully directed. Ryan Johnson knows what he's doing, unless it's Looper.
Could this be Best Picture? Could it be nominated already?
Probably not. It can't be yet. It's in season for it.
Okay, it can.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be.
But I don't think it'll get that kind of recognition. It just it's not fart sniffy enough.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
But it did have some heavy-handed political type topics.
If it was like 3 minutes worth.
Oh, okay. You just could have done without it.
Yeah, I didn't need it. Like I'm looking very closely for something to say that I didn't like about it.
Mhm.
So that's the only reason I even mentioned it.
Got it.
That's it though. I mean, honestly, you got to go. This is good for the entire family. I think this is great. It's probably one of the best movies that I've seen this year. It's got to be top 3 for me.
Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
And I'm really happy that we got to see it early. Because otherwise we were going to have to go see Frozen 2.
Yeah, another thing about that. So AMC did the early access for this. Was this just A-list or was this any stub members?
I'm not sure, but the guy that was sitting next to me didn't seem like he was A-list because he smelled like he was eating.
He smelled like a B-lister.
He pulled a mark where he came in with the smelliest fucking sandwich I could possibly imagine.
Which is what? Is it like a Reuben or
And
something?
I wanted to stab him.
Dale tuna, extra celery and mayonnaise.
He also came in and set up. He had a jacket. Like, I get it. It's cold. It's Chicago. He put his jacket on one seat next to him, and he had like a bag and a bunch of other shit. Like, he put stuff on seats on either side of him.
Yeah. Was it spilling over to your seat at all?
A little bit.
That's
yeah.
the fucking worst. I hate that so much. Oh, the worst is when somebody puts their shit down in your seat you're sitting in, and they look at you like, you're here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking there. Lift your shit up. And they proceed to lift it up and just put it still in the middle of us, and it's spilling over on me. Fuck those people.
I'm spoiled by the
I'm done.
Dolby Theater where you have like the reclining seats and shit, and you got a ton of room. So when I go to an actual digital screening, which is most movie theaters, I'm like, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So that's probably more my fault than anything else.
Good movie though overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Go see this. Can't recommend it enough. Let's do our recommendations for the week. Brick, go ahead.
The World According to Jeff Goldblum on Disney Plus is awesome. I honestly can't. There's 3 episodes, I believe. And first one, he's just talking about how dope sneakers are. Just goes around interviewing a bunch of different people, doing a bunch of different things, and just adding Jeff Goldblum isms. Just being weirdo, being funny, clever, just.
This is the Disney Plus show?
Yeah, they release it weekly.
Well, were you really intrigued by a Jeff Goldblum show?
What's wrong with Jeff Goldblum?
I don't know. That just doesn't catch my I'm not
Jeff Goldblum's
interested
awesome.
in that.
He's so interesting.
Just a show about him, like his
no, it's not about
day-to-day
him.
life?
He goes and looks at like the history of sneakers and like sneakerheads and shit like that.
Exactly.
Oh.
And then he does the same thing with the history of ice cream and goes and talks to Ben and Jerry and goes and does like a ride along with someone who does an ice cream truck and kind of loves ice cream. And then he just kind of goes into all these different ordinary things and finds these extraordinary people or extraordinary things within this small little subgenre. So I just find it fascinating just because Jeff Goldblum's kind of fun, and just seeing him interact with regular people is just it's always just fun to see those kind of celebrities interact with the common folk.
As Brick would say, I'm a little shaken by your dislike of Jeff Goldblum.
It just doesn't. A show like that doesn't interest me right off the bat. Like I saw it on Disney Plus, and it's just his face, and I'm like, nah. I just went to the Goofy movie.
Hot takes. All right, Mark, what is your recommendation?
You're gonna think I'm joking about this,
Probably.
Jeff Goldblum,
but obviously, yeah, the Jeff Goldblum show is great. I've been watching it for the last 2 weeks. No, I'm a huge Kirkland guy, Costco guy.
Oh my God.
Seriously, I'm not fucking around.
Here we go.
These shirts that I'm wearing, they released these about 2 or 3 years ago. They're like all fleece flannel with the fuzzy stuff on the inside. They're the most comfortable work from home, lounging in general shirts you could buy. I'll be nice and maybe get you one for Christmas. But they just released women's ones as well. So if you have any friends, your mother, your father, whoever, and you don't know what to buy them, get them one of these comfy ass flannel plaid shirts. You will not regret it. All fleece, baby.
Let me sum this up for you real
Relax.
quick. So you didn't have a best man alive, and you also didn't have a recommendation. So you just looked down and was like, "Look at
No,
this, the
Marcus,
Kirkland
This
shirt."
is not a joke.
And he was late again today.
And
This
he
is
was
a
like-
big deal. These will sell out in the next 2 weeks. I guarantee it. Get to your Costco immediately.
All
Over and
right.
out.
I want to mention The Irishman, which is releasing Wednesday on Netflix. Even though we kind of shit on Scorsese because he does the same movies over and over again. And he
Wow,
gets-
you guys shit on me for a recommendation of a fleece shirt, and you're gonna give a recommendation for a movie that hasn't even released.
I'm not done yet.
God damn it, I hate you.
First of all, we're
right.
doing this next week, so we need people to go watch it.
Okay, go on.
Um,
I'm listening.
anyways, you totally ruined my train of thought. You're
The Irishman.
you're over here shitting on Jeff Goldblum, and I'm trying to shit on Martin Scorsese.
That's why you're
The
going.
episode was going pretty smooth until I shat on Jeff Goldblum. Yes.
Anyways, this is about the murder of Jimmy Hoffa. What I find interesting about this is now there's new news coming out about the whereabouts. Nobody ever found the body of Jimmy Hoffa, and you could never figure out who did it. Like, people got blamed and shit, and people, it involves the Kennedys and all these other senators and shit. And I'm 100% in on this, even though it's 3.5 hours long. I am very grateful that it's coming to Netflix, so I can pause it and go take a piss and get a beer. But I would not have sat for 3.5 hours to see this movie in the theater.
If you were given the capability to speed up this movie halftime, would you do it?
1.5
speed.
1 1/4.
1 1/4.
1 1/4,
You would.
yeah.
You would do it. You would utilize it.
3.5 hours, man. Come on.
Okay.
At least split it up into a TV show for me. Give me 10 30-minute episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
the other thing I was going to say is absolutely catch up on The Mandalorian. This show is awesome.
It's really good, and I'm a big Star Wars guy.
We need to do a bonus episode on this, or something on Watchmen, or something on something.
You know why we're going to heck? Because we always say we're going to do bonus episodes, and we never do. Because it's more work.
Last one was Game
And-
of Thrones. We need to get back on.
Here's an idea that was actually originally Darian's idea, who I think is still in the chat. Darian said it might be a good idea to release the archived episodes.
No, absolutely
But-
not. Never happening.
But then I was thinking maybe we can remaster them to make them sound better because they sound like shit.
No, that's not happening.
Come on, dude.
Also, I have no idea how to remaster something. I don't know why you
figure it
think
out.
I'd be capable
Figure
of
it
doing
out.
I think remaster is you just put it back on the internet or something like that.
I will tell you one thing. You used to speed them up a little bit too much. My voice was already talking like this the whole time.
No, you just used to speak like an idiot. And I
That
yelled
too.
at you.
Yeah, that too. Remaster them.
You
though.
were a chipmunk.
Figure it out.
No.
Yeah, remastering is slowing it down to the regular pace.
I'm sorry. I was just laughing at Brick ripping a bong on our Twitch stream. We've been on Twitch for one day and you're going to get us pulled off.
Come on, dude. You're done.
Talking to me?
No, the other
No.
guy ripping a bong on our Twitch stream, you fucking idiot.
That wasn't me, dude.
Oh my God. This has been episode 170 of the Chumpcast.
Go shower and brush your teeth or something.
I
God
already
damn
did.
it, dude.
I already
You're done.
did.
You can find us on all
Just the
social
hat
media
hairs.
at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. Until next time.
Chumps out, motherfuckers. Peace.
There's my piece.